When people think about the dangers of Mars, they usually imagine aliens or a lack of oxygen, but the real danger? It's the dust. Now, this isn't regular dust like we have on Earth. Martian dust is sharp, toxic, and it floats everywhere. On Earth, wind and water smooth out dust over time. But Mars doesn't have water or a thick atmosphere, so its dust stays rough, like tiny pieces of broken glass. And here's the scary part. It doesn't just sit on the ground, it flies through the air. Every few years, Mars is hit by giant dust storms, not just big, planet-sized. These storms are so strong, they cover everything for weeks. Imagine standing on Mars and not seeing the sun for days, because the dust blocks out the sky. One of NASA's strongest rovers, called Opportunity, lasted way longer than expected. But in the end, it died because of this dust. Its solar panels got covered. No power, no signal, just silence. And that was just a machine. What happens when it's a human out there? But that was only the beginning. Martian dust isn't just normal dirt. It's full of things that can hurt people badly. One of the main problems is something called silica. These are tiny, sharp particles. If someone breathes them in, they can cut and damage the lungs. Over time, this can make it very hard to breathe. And once the lungs are hurt like this, they can't heal. There's also gypsum in the dust. A little bit of it is okay, but if astronauts breathe it in every day, it could cause big breathing problems. But the most dangerous one, perchlorates. These are toxic salts. They can mess up the body's hormones and stop it from making enough blood. That can make people feel weak and very sick. Another thing in the dust is called nanophase iron oxide. These are super tiny pieces of iron. They can get into your blood and cause problems inside your body, like pain or sickness. The dust is very small, smaller than mold or smoke. It's about 30 times thinner than a human hair. That means it can easily get into the lungs and stay there, and the body can't get it out. What's worse is that you might not feel sick at first. The dust stays inside, slowly hurting the body over time. And even if astronauts wear spacesuits, this dust is so small, it can still sneak in. Even with high-tech suits and gear, Martian dust still finds a way in. This dust is so tiny and sticky that it clings to everything. It gets stuck on spacesuits, boots, tools, even inside helmets. Astronauts can bring it inside without even knowing it. Once the dust gets into the habitat, the place where astronauts live, it becomes a big problem. It can float in the air, land on food, or get into water. If someone eats or drinks something with dust in it, they could get very sick. It can also hurt the eyes. If dust gets under a helmet or in someone's eye, it can scratch or even cause blindness. And breathing it in, that's the worst. The dust can block lungs, damage organs, and cause long-term health problems. Even the machines on Mars can be hurt by the dust. It can block air filters, break seals, and stop important systems from working. That's what happened to the Opportunity rover. It was covered in dust and couldn't charge its batteries anymore. Astronauts will have to clean everything all the time. Vacuum suits, change air filters, and scrub every surface. If they don't, the dust could build up and cause serious danger. And if the dust doesn't get them right away, it might slowly wear them down over time. Dust isn't the only danger on Mars. There are other big problems too, like space radiation and low gravity. On Earth, we are safe from space radiation because we have a strong magnetic field and a thick atmosphere. But Mars doesn't have that. Radiation from the sun and space hits the planet all the time. This radiation is invisible, but it can damage the body, hurt organs, and even cause cancer over time. Now let's talk about gravity. Mars has only about 40% of the gravity we have on Earth. That means your body feels lighter, but it's not a good thing. When the body doesn't feel normal gravity, muscles start to shrink and bones get weaker. Astronauts in space already deal with this problem. Even on the space station, they have to exercise every day to stay strong. But on Mars, they'll be there much longer. That means even more danger of losing muscle and bone strength. There's also something strange that happens with eyesight. In space, the fluids in the body move differently. The brain can press on the eyes, and that causes vision problems. Some astronauts come back from space with blurry vision that doesn't go away. So when you add up the dust, the radiation, the weak gravity, and vision loss, it becomes clear. Mars is not just hard to live on, it's hard to survive at all. And if something goes wrong, help is very, very far away. If something goes wrong on Mars, no one can come to help. Earth is very far away. It takes about 9 months just to send a rocket there. That means there's no fast way to rescue anyone. If an astronaut gets hurt or sick, they'll have to deal with it alone. And it's not just the distance. Talking to people on Earth is also slow. A message can take up to 22 minutes to reach Earth, and another 22 minutes to get a reply. That means if something bad happens, astronauts won't be able to ask for help right away. They'll have to fix things, solve problems, and make big decisions all by themselves. Emphatically, there's no doctor, no emergency team, no way to get out quickly. That's why everything on Mars has to work perfectly. If something breaks, like the air system or water supply, it could be deadly. And if there's a dust storm, it could block power or break machines. The astronauts might be stuck inside their habitat for days or weeks. They can't just open the door and leave. Seriously, living on Mars means being completely on your own. There are no second chances. And even if they survive all that, thoughtful, they still have to build a whole new world from scratch. Sending stuff to Mars is really hard. Rockets can't carry too much, and it costs a lot of money. So astronauts can't bring everything they need. That means they'll have to make things on Mars by themselves. They'll need to grow food in Martian soil, even though the soil is dry and full of harmful chemicals. They'll have to find ways to clean it or grow food without using real dirt. They'll also need to make air. Mars doesn't have oxygen like Earth, so astronauts will have to use special machines or even tiny bacteria to turn carbon dioxide into air they can breathe. Homes on Mars can't be built like on Earth. Instead, they'll need to 3D print habitats using materials found on Mars. These shelters must be strong enough to handle dust, cold, and radiation. And every single day, astronauts will have to clean everything. That means vacuuming their suits, changing air filters, scrubbing floors, and checking machines. If they don't, the dust could build up and cause dangerous problems. It might sound like science fiction, but it's also kind of like being a farmer, a builder, and a scientist, all at the same time. Living on Mars won't feel like exploring. It'll feel like hard work every single day. And that's only if the body and mind can handle it, because Mars still has more challenges to throw at us. Some people think we can change Mars to make it more like Earth. This idea is called terraforming. The goal is to warm the planet, make the air thicker and bring back water so humans can live there more easily. It sounds amazing, like turning a dead planet into a new home. But it's not easy. In fact, it's very risky. We don't even know how to do it yet. It would take hundreds or even thousands of years, and we'd need huge machines or even nuclear explosions to warm the planet. It could cost more money than anything ever done in history. And here's the real problem. We might destroy something before we even find it. There could be tiny life forms living deep under the Martian surface, old bacteria from billions of years ago. If we change the planet too soon, we might kill them without ever knowing they were there. Mars has a long, mysterious history. Long ago, it had rivers, lakes, maybe even oceans. It once looked a little like Earth, but now it's cold and dry. Even today, scientists find signs of methane in the air, something that might come from life. If we rush to terraform Mars, we could erase all that history forever. It's like the problem in the movie Jurassic Park. Just because we can do something doesn't mean we should, and it makes us ask a hard question. Do we have the right to change another planet? So, after all the danger, hard work, and big questions, you might wonder, why even go to Mars? The answer is simple. Mars can teach us a lot. A long time ago, Mars had water, rivers, and maybe even life. Now it's dry and frozen. If we study it, we might understand what happened and learn how to protect Earth from the same future. If we ever find living bacteria on Mars, it would be the first time we find life outside Earth. That would be one of the biggest discoveries in history. It would show that life in the universe might not be so rare after all. Mars is also like a mirror. It shows us how fragile our own planet really is. By looking at Mars, we might learn to take better care of Earth. And maybe one day Mars could become a second home, a place where people live, work, and build a new future. But to do that, we'll need more than just rockets and suits. We'll need wisdom, teamwork, and a lot of patience. Going to Mars is not just about science or survival. It's about who we are as humans and what kind of future we want to build. Mars looks like a quiet, red planet, but it's full of danger. The dust can kill. The radiation is strong, the gravity is weak, and if anything goes wrong, there's no way to call for help. Astronauts will have to build everything, fix everything, and survive alone. They'll face problems every day, some we haven't even thought of yet. And even if we do manage to live there, we must ask, should we change another planet just to suit us? What if we destroy something important like signs of ancient life? Exploring Mars is not just about going somewhere new. It's about learning who we are. It's about protecting Earth, finding out if life exists out there, and maybe, just maybe, giving humanity a second chance. But the real question isn't, can we go to Mars? The real question is, should we? And if we do, are we truly ready?